Tommy Wilson with a bone to pick here tonight. A man with a decided chip on his shoulder. Of course, recently saw him challenge the Rebel Storm for the Skyfire Pro Lucha Libre Championship. As you can see, he came up short in that affair and wants to get back to championship contention by any means necessary. Oh yeah, a little power line! Oh man!
215 pounds from Green City, the best bug, Super Beetle!
Fans, I really pride myself on being an impartial broadcaster. That is impossible to do when Super Beetle is entering to Eye by Tevin Campbell, aka Powerline, from a Goofy movie, unequivocally the greatest Disney movie of all time. One way or another, together's where we both belong. Here we go, Oreo. If we listen to each other's hearts, you'll find we're never too far apart. And maybe love is the reason why, for the first time ever, we're seeing it eye to eye. All right, we gotta be impartial. Call it down the middle, Oreo.
You're right. God, I have so much bias here,
but I mean that is a generational tune, quite frankly.
What a banger to come out to, and what a banger of a match we have in store for us here, Jordan.
Yeah, how apropos for a wrestler like Super Beetle, a staple of the SoCal independent wrestling scene for a very, very long time, against a staple of San Diego, Tommy Wilson, who wants to steal it. Match nearly ended in 3 seconds flat.
Right, the bell ring. What timing? He wants to put away this Beetle already.
Oreo, I said it during your ring introductions. Tommy Wilson with a chip on his shoulder after losing that Skyfire Pro Lucha Libre Championship match to the Rebel Storm. He cannot afford to lose to Super Beetle after that embarrassing and debilitating loss, frankly.
At this point, the collector's got to collect at least a win here at Skyfire Pro, Jordan.
If he ever hopes to get back to championship contention, you are absolutely right.
And of course, going up against Super Beetle is no easy task. Tommy Wilson pulling out all the stops here in this beginning grappling.
He's no ham and egger. He's no slouch, is Super Beetle. Gonna have to rely on the speed and the Lucha Libre acumen here at Skyfire Pro. Lucha Libre to counteract the power of Tommy Wilson, who goes for the cover, but only a 1.
Super Beetle as well. Strong durability, a lot of ability in his skills and power. Trying to circle up, trying to size up Tommy Wilson. And Tommy Wilson being a collector himself, I wonder if he's trying to be a bit of an entomologist grabbing a hold of Super Beetle here.
Really mocking Super Beetle here, asking for the test of strength, and instead getting a purple nurple from the man in blue. A purple nurple hip toss? A nip toss?
I don't blame Tommy Wilson. He's feeling that right now. Taking some time to recover on the outside. Jazz Boulon attempting to bring him back in. There's the count.
Tommy Wilson, he's really beside himself.
Oh, trying to mess with the audience now. This happens, of course, when you've been showing up in the ring. Gotta take it out somewhere. This projecting can only go so far, Tommy Wilson.
It's a very thin line, right? Sometimes you can use that anger and that self-hatred to motivate you towards victory, but sometimes it can cloud you, can make you see red and turn that angry fighter into a sloppy fighter.
Speaking of which, a disrespectful slap and a return.
Super Beetle, not to be outdone, rolls him up. Only a 2. Nice drop kick. Nearly sending Tommy Wilson staggering outside the ring.
He is reeling, and Super Beetle's looking to capitalize.
Irish whip. And a big uppercut.
Oh, beautiful forearm. Great combination of strikes from Super Beetle. Of course, nothing more fearful to hit than that giant horn against the skull.
Super Beetle has added size in recent years, and with mass comes power. We're seeing it, and Tommy Wilson's feeling it.
One can only imagine the rest of his exoskeleton. How much more painful it must be to land on that for Tommy Wilson, too, no matter what damage he's putting in.
You seem very well versed in the anatomy of Super Beetle, much more so than Asterix.
I'm a bit of a bug fan myself, I cannot deny.
Well, Super Beetle looking venomous for Tommy Wilson as he wrenches at the hand. Smart strategy. Wilson will use those arms to muscle him up. Difficult to do so. They're bent every which way. Super Beetle, maybe we're going to go a little old school.
The amazing balance of this bug is something to behold here, Jordan Castle.
He is shucking and he is jiving.
We're really far. Can we go back?
Oh,
Wilson trying to catch him, but Super Beetle with the Lucha Libre acumen this time sends Wilson outside the ring. Oh my goodness! Stealing a chair from a ringside fan and nearly clocking Super Beetle. He's lucky referee Jazz didn't disqualify him here. Another arm drag.
my goodness.
And another. And another drop kick. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, Ario.
Well, we're seeing the consequences of such projection on display right now. Tommy Wilson, so much anger and frustration is not going to get him anywhere.
This has been all Super Beetle, but as soon as I say it, Tommy Wilson drops him back first. Almost an inverse unprettier. Hook of the leg. 2, and a kick out. Can you make someone less pretty if they are under a mask? Does that work?
I definitely feel like if you check out a squash bug versus a regular one, it doesn't look too pretty anyway.
Tommy Wilson indeed looking to squish this bug. He's no tree hugger.
Definitely for sure no tree hugger, but we'll be seeing out here. Is he going to try and squash the Beetle on the pavement or in the ring?
I mean, perhaps he already has. Tommy Wilson seems more than happy to opt for the count-out win.
So look at this. Just mocking the audience.
Referee Jazz up to the count of 5, but Super Beetle saying, if you're going to send me to hell, Tommy Wilson, I'm going to drag you down to meet me.
Oh, Super Beetle paying in kind, of course, doing it for the fans. He's showing off.
Back and forth they go. With the assistance of a ringside fan, the same one I believe Tommy Wilson was mouthing off to in the early going.
What goes around comes around, Tommy.
Beetle back in the ring, but Wilson cuts him off. Kicking the middle rope, technically not a disqualification, but that hard steel cable connecting with the nether regions of the Beetle.
All these years of being a veteran, all these years of scumbaggery to practice.
Nasty right hand from Tommy Wilson.
Broken the horn there.
At this point, as long as he doesn't get himself disqualified, what does Super Beetle have to do to find his way back in this thing, Ario?
I suppose at this point, he's going to need a miracle or just hopefully the ability to recover as Jasmine tries to pull Tommy Wilson off of Super Beetle at this point.
Using every single one of those 4 seconds allotted to him by the official is Tommy Wilson. It's a dangerous game, and as he said, Ario, he is a veteran. He knows where the limits and the lines are. He knows how to press them without crossing them.
Always a numbers game here, Jordan Castle, but none number matter most than a 3 count at the end.
Tommy Wilson sent back first into the turnbuckle, and Super Beetle leveling him with some shots of his own. The Irish whip, no. Back body drop. The Beetle goes down hard.
Right on his thorax there, one might be able to say.
Wrenching with a rear naked choke. Center of the ring. Wilson's got his legs interlaced against the torso of Super Beetle. He's got the arms squeezing at the head. There's really nowhere for Super Beetle to go.
Jordan, I mentioned, of course, the exoskeleton of Super Beetle, but that can just as easily bend and break as any other human appendage or bone. Tommy Wilson looking to wrench off that head right now.
And that's the thing about Tommy Wilson. He is a collector. To him, it's not just about winning matches. It's about proving points. And what better way to prove a point than by hurting Super Beetle? Sunset flip from the Beetle, but Wilson uses the size to regain a vertical base and hits a big boot. Cover. And a kick out.
Perhaps that first collection may very well be Jordan Castle, the head or even the horn of Super Beetle after this match.
That nasty attitude of Tommy Wilson, especially tonight, especially after losing the Skyfire Pro Lucha Libre Championship match.
Means a lot here. He's out for blood right now.
Tommy Wilson with control of the arm, just stomping at the bicep of Super Beetle.
Come on, Beetle, what you got?
Trying to sever all appendages he may have.
And trying to sever his confidence. I mean, you see him mouthing off to Beetle, you hear him, I should say, saying, come on, Beetle, what do you got? Tommy Wilson is trying to get into the head of Super Beetle, quite literally here as he wrenches at the mask. What a jawbreaker from Beetle. Staggers Wilson.
That was an act of desperation there as Beetle's trying to find some form of recovery.
And sometimes you gotta fight fire with fire. Tommy Wilson's getting nasty, Beetle's gotta do the same. And that shot to the chest. I don't care that he has a shirt. Hurts like hell, Ario.
Oh, with such big hands, of course. He's gotta leave some form of a mark on Super Beetle the next day. Oh, if he can even see the next day with all these strikes.
The Super Beetle may have that piece of his ring gear, that centerpiece, permanently tattooed onto him after the impact of Tommy Wilson's hands.
I suppose Tommy Wilson's a bit of an impressionist right now, trying to lay in all that weight on Super Beetle.
You're really just digging every single one of those 250 plus pounds on top of the hero. But Super Beetle, he's not going quietly into the night. He's surviving here.
Jasmine One, extra focused right now. At any moment it could end.
Beetle muscling himself up.
He's feeling the audience here, Jordan.
And he uses the audience to escape. But how much damage should Wilson do while he had that hold cinched in? Is it too little too late, Ario?
In the corner right now.
Blockbuster! Or shall we say a block Beetle?
Block Beetle Buster, one might say.
Beetle unable to capitalize. Impressive maneuver, but I think it took so much out of him in the process that he's unable to go for a cover.
Well, like he just said too, Jordan Castle, he's recovering from the previous holds he's having to get out of.
Again, Tommy Wilson, a veteran, plays the long game, Ario. He knows that not every one of those holds is going to win a matchup. It's going to wear Super Beetle down to the point where he's this tuckered out, to the point where he's unable to capitalize.
Not a lariat on him. He's feeling some form of energy again.
Big headbutt with that horn.
Hornbutt does severe damage.
Atomic drop. Neck breaker.
Planted him there, too.
It ain't pretty, but it may be effective. No, only a 2. Did not catch all of the neck breaker. Did not have full control of the neck as he went down, and as such, was not able to plant Tommy Wilson in that perfect position.
I'm so glad to have the expert eyes of you here, Jordan Castle. What amazing skills these two wrestlers are showing off right now.
This has been a very evenly matched contest. Tommy Wilson has stayed on top of Super Beetle, but Super Beetle sends him outside the ring.
Wilson now staggering.
Is Wilson, he's calling it a day? He's calling it quits? Super Beetle not going to let him. Oh, was looking for a tope suicida, but a super kick from Wilson. Goes for the cover.
We're going to see the end here. Let's see.
No! Only a 2. Only a 2. So close. Perhaps the closest cover of the matchup.
My goodness. I really don't know where this is going to land here, Jordan. I am on the edge of my seat. You can physically see I am on the edge of my seat. Tommy Wilson queuing him up, teeing him up.
Wilson is locked and loaded. This might be academic for Super Beetle.
Ooh, catches him, though.
The Super Beetle catches the super kick. Looking for a stunner. But Wilson again sends him outside the ring.
Oof.
No padding. That is hard pavement. And Wilson was looking for a tope suicida, but it's Beetle countering with a DDT on the apron.
Oh, Tommy Wilson definitely stuck the landing there, it seems. He is reeling.
Super Beetle looking to finish him.
There's a cover.
No! Wilson not able to kick out, but got the foot on the bottom rope, and the match continues.
Jordan, his brain must be rattling right now after those 2 strikes, and just out of instinct, it seems.
It's that veteran acumen. Decades in the game. Tommy Wilson knows where he is in the ring at all times and knows how to use that ring positioning to survive. But Beetle, again looking for a lucha arm drag. Awkward landing on the knee, and Wilson capitalizes.
Caving in the knee there, Jordan Castle. That's gotta hurt. Oh,
and Wilson maybe thinking figure 4 leg lock. Nearly won the Skyfire Pro Lucha Libre Championship with this move.
Oh!
Center of the ring. Beetle in agony. I don't care that he's wearing a mask. I don't care that you can't see his face. This man is in pain.
He's struggling, he's crawling, the ropes are just there, Jordan.
But Wilson grabbing at the elbow, doing everything he can to keep the arm away, but it's not enough. Beetle forces the break.
What amazing willpower we've seen on display right now from Super Beetle.
And I'm not sure if you caught that, Ario. A look of desperation across the face of Tommy Wilson. Credit where credit is due. He's saying on top of people, what is this? Come on! This isn't about winning a match for Tommy Wilson. This is about hurting Super Beetle. Come on!
All semblance of sportsmanship here.
Figure 4 leg lock on the outside. On the post, that steel dug into the already injured legs, that injured knee of Super Beetle.
Sickening. Absolutely disgusting display.
I understand Tommy Wilson is a veteran here in San Diego. I understand he commands respect. Nothing to respect about this.
He knows better, Jordan Castle. Just what is? At this point, it's more of just an assault.
Again, I think this has so much less to do with Super Beetle and so much more to do with the Rebel Storm and the Skyfire Pro Lucha Libre Championship.
Absolutely, Tommy Wilson has to climb his way back up.
But it's Super Beetle climbing over the ropes, again a sunset flip. But Tommy Wilson back to that injured knee. Oh, Super Beetle steals it, small package. He got him!
Your winner, Super Beetle!
Against all odds, injured knee and otherwise, Super Beetle with the win over Wilson. And it means we get to hear eye to eye one more time. It must be my birthday.